you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
And overtime.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Monday Night Football Overtime. Jets, Lions, and you know what? I've been here before, so I'm not gonna kill the Lions, man, because I've been here before. And I know the feeling. I know what this is like as a fan. When you get all excited and there's nothing where I said this before. As a matter of fact, I said it 2 years ago. There's nothing worse than waiting on week 1 till Monday to get your ass whooped. Nothing worse. There's nothing like it to get excited about week 1. Watch everybody else play, be hyped about your boys, be at home, be at the crib, only to get your ass whooped. There's nothing quite like it. It's the worst feeling as a sports fan other than losing a big game or blowing a big lead. Okay? There's nothing that can describe the absolute disappointment and shame that is felt when your team is at home on a Monday night in week 1 and you get embarrassed at the crib. The Redskins did it 2 years ago versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know the feeling, okay? I sat in this very seat 2 years ago after the Steelers came into FedEx and absolutely embarrassed us. And I had to sit here with a straight face and try to convince myself it was okay. But it was embarrassing. So I know the feeling, Lions fans. The only difference was we lost to a team that we thought was a pretty good team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. We thought that was like a Super Bowl contending team. We didn't lose to a rookie quarterback in the New York Jets. Giving up 31 points in 1 quarter? Damn, that hurts. Do you want to know what giving up 31 points in 1 quarter looks like to the team that actually scored 31 points? You want me to show you what fans of that team, what they do when their team scores 31 points in 1 quarter and goes up 48-17 on national television? And then at the end of that clip, you'll see the despair that the other side feels. So you see both ends of the spectrum, if you will. Let's take a look at this. Was that man dancing on y'all in your own stadium? Wait a minute. Can I get that? Can I get that one more time? Hey. Did you see the 2 Lions fans at the end of the clip? Hey, man, I've been there before. I don't know where you go from here because I don't feel bad for Lions fans. I don't feel bad for the Lions because I told you you had no business firing your last head coach, Jim Caldwell. Now, I listened to all the Lions fans tell me why Jim Caldwell needed to go, and I hear you talking, and I'm not a Lions fan, so I can't tell you how to feel. All I know is that man kept you competitive in the division every single year, and you fired him. So this is what you get, just like in Buffalo. I don't feel bad for the Bills right now. I don't feel bad for the Buffalo Bills because you want to run Tyrod Taylor out of town? This is what you get. So this is your consolation prize for wanting to run Jim Caldwell out of town after the man went 9-7, almost making the postseason. Hey, look, I'm not here to debate and argue with Lions fans who told me he didn't need to be there anymore. It was time for change. Fine, I hear you. Just take your ass whooping and shut up then, okay? Take your ass whooping in stride, and I don't want to hear nothing from you. But let's talk about the Jets. Damn the Lions, okay? You get embarrassed at the crib on a Monday night against a rookie quarterback. You don't say shit to me. I don't need to be talking about your team. Let's talk about the team that actually did the ass whooping tonight. The New York Jets. I told you before the season started, look, I said, I think I gave them 3, maybe 4 wins, somewhere in there. And I said, I know they're going to win more games than that. You know why? Because I love Todd Bowles. I told you the man is a hell of a coach. And I said, they've got more talent. They've got more talent than a 4 or a 3-win team. And remember, they weren't supposed to win 5 games last year, and they won 5 games. What do you think they're going to do this year? And they're better. And they have a better quarterback. They're going to win 7 or 8 games this year. But I just couldn't do it on the schedule. That's why I hate picking winners and losers before the season starts, because it's this exercise in futility, because you just don't know who's going to do what. Who could have anticipated the Lions coming in and soiling themselves, wetting the bed, shitting their drawers like this on national television, allowing the Jets to come in and disrespect them in every way imaginable in their own house? They went in their house, kicked in the door, waving the 4-4. Jets, please don't hit me no more. Oh, no. God damn. Woo! They beat up Matthew Stafford. I said, hey, Stafford, don't get up, Matt. Don't get up. Don't get up. Don't do it, Matt. Don't do it. Don't get up. They sandwiched that man. I said, Matt, it ain't worth it. Don't get up. Then I heard in the back of my head, I heard Jimmy V say, don't give up. Don't ever give up. I said, but Jimmy, they losing 48-7 at 17 at the crib. Matt just got sandwiched, got a helmet to the gut. Let him sit down. The Jets were ferocious on defense. All jokes aside, the Jets were ferocious on defense. They got after Matthew Stafford early in this game. They made him uncomfortable. And it's crazy because the way this game started reminds me a lot of, I want to say, a game we got our ass whooped on a Monday night against the Eagles, I believe it was. I think it was the Eagles. Where D'Angelo Hall picks up a fumble, I believe it was. Runs it back for a touchdown, and we all excited. And then I think the Eagles proceeded to then score like 35 unanswered points or something like that. It was ridiculous. And that's kind of how this game started out. Very first play of the game, Sam Darnold throws a pick 6. And it's an ill-advised throw, one of those throws you tell yourself you can't make. And we talk about Sam Darnold and his decision-making. We talked about it coming out of USC, how this was a guy that was prone to turnovers, that would try to do some things that you just don't want to do with the football, and would turn it over. And we saw it on the very first snap. You know, he's throwing across his body, doesn't see a defender lurking that's baiting him, and Quandre Diggs picks him off and takes it to the crib. And you're thinking, yeah, they about to do these boys. And he got back in the game, he calmed down, took him down the field, they got in the end zone, and all of a sudden, they just had a rhythm going. And before you know it, it was 17-7. They had picked off Stafford a couple of times. Boy, did Tremaine Johnson get his damn clock cleaned after picking off a pass. What the hell was he looking at? To not see Kenny Golladay over there and to get his ass lit up like that? But anyway, it was still a pick. Matthew Stafford was still tripping. And you got to give credit to this Jets defense. And I've always said Todd Bowles is one of the best defensive minds in all of football. And it wasn't shocking to see them doing what they did to Matthew Stafford in this game, and bottling up the run game, and then forcing Stafford to have to beat them, and them really going in and taking it to that Jets or that Lions offense. But you look at the flip side, and Darnold got comfortable, got into a rhythm. I love Quincy Enunwa. I tried to warn everybody, and it was funny. I kept telling everybody just how much I loved Robbie Anderson and Jermaine Kearse. Kearse isn't playing tonight, but I said, I love these Jets receivers. I told you that those two were a top 7 tandem in the league, and you guys said, man, you really love the Jets receivers. And that wasn't even talking about Quincy Enunwa, who didn't play last year. You add him into the mix, and his toughness that he brings, it just adds to what they have at the receiver position. It's a dangerous Jets team. You add in Isaiah Crowell, who I thought was a really underrated back with the Browns last year. And then Bilal Powell might be the most underrated running back in all of football. So you add in that run game and guys that can catch it out of the backfield, in addition to some guys you like at the receiver position, in addition to a quarterback now that is mobile, that can get out of the pocket, that can extend plays, like we saw him with that third down throw to Anunwa to keep a drive alive that ultimately ended up in a touchdown. When you see all of the things that they can do offensively, and then you look at their defense and you know they've been drafting defense for a while. They've added some pieces defensively that's going to make them a more complete team. They got the linebacker from Tennessee that's going to come in and stabilize the linebacker position. I love Darren Lee. I love his speed and what he brings to the table. You got McClendon in the middle of that defense. You look at what they've done along that defensive line. They're strong. They're stout up front. They love Henry Anderson. He got pressure on Stafford tonight, was a part of that sandwich hit that put Matthew Stafford on his back for quite a while in the third quarter. This is a different Jets football team. The secondary, they go out, they get Trumaine Johnson. They've already had some guys that they liked. They drafted some guys. The Adams, Jamal Adams out of LSU. They had Claiborne from last year's free agency group. And so it's all starting to come together for the Jets in that secondary. I told you I really liked it. I know a lot of you didn't watch the Jets draft wrap-up, and that's why I was able to talk reckless on that show. But I talked about Perry Nickerson and how I think this guy's going to be a stud at the next level. I thought that was a pick right before the half. I thought that was an interception. I thought they should have taken a look at it. They didn't. Then the special teams unit jumps in and says, hey, let me get in on this party. It's a fiesta. Fiesta. Woo! Fiesta. Everybody having a party, man. Defense picking off, taking it to the crib. Offense making big plays. Running backs running 50-yard runs for touchdown. Hell, let me get a punt return for a touchdown. Almost had one in the first quarter. Let me get a six-piece to the crib. Damn. Look, if you went and took a bath at halftime and came back, you would have been floored at what you came back and found. Because the Jets scored 31 points in the third quarter. This score at one point was 17-17. Golden Tate runs into the end zone to start off the third quarter after Matthew Stafford hits him on a slant. And you're saying, okay, they even now they leaving. They about to go do these boys. Similar to what you said when they got the pick six to start the game. They about to do these boys. And then the Jets went off. I mean, really off. Offense, defense, special teams, everybody got off. Stafford start throwing it to the wrong color jersey. Man, it got ugly quick. Yikes. And remember that Lions fan that came on and talked about how they were going to win the division this year? Y'all know who it is. You already know. And I told you, when you come on my show talking trash, I'm going to call you out. We're not going to allow anyone to come up here, talk cold, hard cash, and get away with it. Likely Phenomenon came on this show talking about how they hadn't won the division since it was the NFC Central, and that this year was the year that they were going to win the division. Nobody was talking about the Lions, and that they were being disrespected, and that they were going to win the division. You want to know why no one was talking about the Lions? Because of that shit right there. That's why we don't fart with the Lions, okay? That's why we don't even worry about, we don't waste breath on the Lions. The only time we talk about the Lions is when Thanksgiving is coming up, because it's mandatory. That's what we do to the Detroit Lions. Similar to the Los Angeles Chargers. That's why we don't mess with those boys, because even though they got a quarterback that we know can sling it, we can't trust those boys. We don't trust those teams because they don't know how to win consistently. And then you want to go fire your coach? I love Todd Bowles. I love what the Jets are doing. I love how they're piecing that whole organization together. I love it. I love how they're putting it all together. Because, no, they're probably not going to make the playoffs this year because they got a rookie quarterback. And, yeah, Sam Darnold's going to make mistakes, right? That's what rookies do. But he's getting the necessary experience with a young core of players that's going to allow him to grow with these guys. And before you know it, the Jets are going to be a dangerous team in the AFC East. This was nasty right here. This was a statement too. You thought we was going to come on Monday night, roll over for the Lions, let them get their wins and get their first one of the season off. Get them feeling good about having a new coach, new environment, new attitude, the Patriot way in Detroit. You thought we was going to come in here and let you get it off. Turn that shit off. Don't turn it on, turn it off. Big ups to the Jets, man. Hell of an ass whooping. That was so fun to watch. Them systematically take apart the Detroit Lions. And the best part was the pan shot to Matt Patricia, who looked clueless, who was searching for answers. People gonna learn. There's a reason why you don't go snatching up New England's assistants. Because they stink as head coaches. Go down the list. Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel, Josh McDaniels. The list goes on and on. Keep snatching from old Bill's tree. Keep snatching from the tree. That shit is rotten to the core. That's why they ass stay in New England for so goddamn long. Don't believe the hype. The only reason Mike Vrabel might work in Tennessee is because he got to wash some of the funk off in Houston for a few years. I don't know, though. That Patriot stench is hard to get out. It's hard to get out. You're going to learn, though. Those who don't hear, feel. You're going to learn today. You're going to learn. Woo! Sam Darnold out there throwing dimes. Carving them boys up. The run game. Slicing and dicing through that Detroit Lions line. And they left battered and bruised. I don't know if Darius Slay came back in this game. Ziggy Ansah, I think he left this game and didn't return. Matthew Stafford definitely is going to wake up sore tomorrow with a bunch of aches and bruises. They left this game in really bad shape. I just named the 3 best players on their team. All of them took a bruising tonight. Took a beating at some point. Whether it was friendly fire or just fire. And let me get that one more time, man, before we start taking some comments. Did you see the Lions fans in the end? They look just as clueless as Matt Patricia did. Like, what? How the hell did we get here? Is that score right? Is it really 48-17 right now at the house? Yeah, man. Yeah, it is. It is. Let's get to some comments, man, before we get to this Raiders game, man. I can't spend but too much time on this, man. I can't. Double A says, I told you the toilet ain't shit. They played like the toilet today. And that stinker that they left in the toilet bowl was, boy, it smelled like some rotten shit. Seriously. Emperor Meat says, we need to really have a discussion on if Stafford is really that guy. That shit had me rolling, but at the same time questioning him. Nah, Matthew Stafford is an OG, man. I'm not going to try to run him out of town and try to throw him under the bus. You get these games every now and again. These games to remember or to forget. Ben Roethlisberger had one last year against Jacksonville. It happens. Remember, what did he throw? 5 interceptions? Had him questioning whether he needed to retire or not. It happens, bro. Go along the list of the greats in the league, and all of them have a game to forget. And you could just put this in the list of games that Matthew Stafford probably wants to forget. But let's not act like Matthew Stafford ain't that dude. What was it, last year or was it the year before last, where he had all the comeback victories? It was 2 years ago, 2016, where he was taking them down the field, and you knew at the end of the game he was about to do you. Like, don't do that. Don't don't do that to him tonight. Dude started, 114 straight games. Remember when we thought Matthew Stafford was injury prone? Dude ain't missed a start in like 7, 8, 9 years, man. Like, chill, bro. I know he had a bad game tonight, But let's respect what this man's done in his body of work, man. The dude threw for 5,000 yards in one season. We can count on one hand how many quarterbacks has done that in NFL history. Like, let's not disrespect what the man's done in his body of work. But yes, he can get a little funky at times, but the man is good. Jordan Bryant says, kill them, man, please, for firing Jim Caldwell for this. Hey, look, man, I had to get off my little diatribe because I was not a supporter of getting rid of Jim Caldwell. I said it then. I'm going to say it now. But again, I'm not a Lions fan, so I don't want to overstep my boundaries because a lot of Lions fans was like, yo, he got to go. You know, they had their reasons, and I said, okay, I'm not a Lions fan, so I'm not at liberty to have that discussion with you. I'm just talking about from the outside looking in, all Jim Caldwell did was win while he was in Detroit. And so I thought the man deserved better than what he got. But, you know, they decided to go in a different direction. And, you know, their GM was new. He wanted to get his guy in there. That's what GMs want to do, get their guy inside. And so this is what happens. You got your guy. Now you got to live with it. This is only the first game, okay? This could be just a setup. And for this could be a downfall for the rise of Matt Patricia as Lions head coach. So I'm not going to act like all of a sudden the Lions are going to lose every game this year and they're the worst team in the league. Let's not overreact to one game. It was a fun one game, but it's one game. All right, the Lions could win by 30 next week. You know, so we'll see what happens. RC3 Gaming says, did Detroit even show up? Jets whooped their ass tonight. He said, are the Lions the Detroit toiletries? I don't know. I mean, they didn't look prepared tonight. They came out flat. After the pick six, they came out flat on offense. And like I said, they showed up like a team that expected the Jets to just lay down for them. That's what it felt like. Like, okay, we're better than them. They're inferior to us. We should just show up at home on a Monday night with a raucous crowd, and that should be enough to get us a dub. And they were wrong. Vincent Cole says, wow, Crowell is such a beast. He's pretty underappreciated when he was with the Browns. I love Isaiah Crowell, man. I love Isaiah Crowell. I think, like you said, he's very underappreciated. I think he's one of the most underrated backs in football, right along with his teammate, who I think is the most underrated back in all of football, Bilal Powell, and he's been that way for the last 3 or 4 years strong, going back to the Rex Ryan days when they had other backs in there, and he was the other guy, and he was still probably the best guy that they had. Slow Flow Sports says, for real, that commentator needs to take a hike. Which one you talking about? Beth Mowens? Now, I know a lot of people don't really like her at all. I don't have a problem with her. Her voice is a little annoying, but I don't have a problem with her. MCGB says, man, nothing worse than this. Team full of scrubs. When the Jets go back to being the Jets, this loss will look even more horrible. What you got to understand is the Jets aren't a bad football team. And your arrogance as a Lions fan is what got you beat tonight. Your arrogance as a Lions fan is exactly what your players felt like. Oh, they're the Jets. And you saying when the Jets go back to being horrible, this is going to look even worse. What if you're the bad team? What if you're the 3-13 team this year? What if the Jets are looking like, yeah, I'm glad we did those boys. They stink. I don't know. Nick Riley says, my God, Stafford was making some god-awful reads outside of Sam Darnold's first throw. He was pretty damn impressive. Yeah, I pretty much feel the exact same way. There were a couple of those throws that were picked off. One comes to mind, the two Darren Lee picks. I'm looking at it from the quarterback view, and I'm saying, bro, what are you looking at? Like, that didn't even make sense. Like, you know, sometimes when you throw a pick, oh, he just didn't see that guy, or, man, that was a hell of a play by the defender. And you can understand how that one got picked. Those two picks, I'm like, bro, what the hell are you? The pick that he threw to Trumaine Jones, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, what the hell are you doing? What are you looking at? And yes, Darnold, after the first throw, I thought he showed poise because he could have went in the tank after a pick six. Your first career throw is a pick six. You can go in the tank after that. He didn't though. He showed resilience. He came in, he settled down the troops, and he made plays. And when it wasn't there, he threw it away or he took a sack and he ate it. So I like the poise and the moxie that this guy showed, man. And I was impressed with him. And we're going to see if he's able to continue this. They got a big test next week. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they got New England next week. Do they have New England? No, New England has Jacksonville. They've got somebody in the division. Miami? Yes, because the Bills have the Chargers. They got Miami next week. That's going to be pretty interesting because Miami feels good about their win versus the Titans. They feel good about their win, obviously, on the road versus the Lions. I think they're going home to take on Miami. That should be an interesting game in the division because both of those teams have a chance to go to 2-0. And both of those teams are saying, why not us? Why can't we be the team that competes with New England in this division? It's going to be a big game. Looking forward to it. Excuse me. Emperor Meat says, also the Lions play calling was suspect as well to me. They got the same offensive coordinator. So, Jim Bob Cooter, JBC calling the plays. I'm not going to question JBC because when the shit was working, we didn't question JBC. I'm not going to question him now. I just think there was a lot of bad reads by Matthew Stafford in this game, and they thought they were going to be able to run the football better than they did. They had little to no success rushing the ball in this game, and they lost one of their free agent acquisitions in LeGarrette Blount to an injury. Don't know how serious his injury is, but it just goes to show you just how much they got beat up tonight as well. KC says, did you see the clip of the kid in the Lions jersey with a piece of paper saying, "Go Jets" on it in bold? No, I missed that. I missed that one, man. Yikes. Ed says, laughing my ass off. They're the cryings. Hey, Nick says, homie was feeling himself, had the JETS, Jets chant going. Hey, BE says, this game legit made me fall asleep, man. How dare you fall asleep on a beautiful masterpiece of an ass whooping? Getting your shoes, coat, and your hat taken. How could you dare fall asleep on something like this? These are the funnest games to watch. When one team, as long as it's not your team, you get to really enjoy and bask in the misery of somebody else. And just be thankful that it's not your team. Like I said, I have just a little bit of empathy for them. Because at one point, this was me. 2 years ago, I sat in this chair on a Monday night, first game of a doubleheader, at home versus Steelers, after getting my ass whooped. So I know what that feeling is like. But what I don't feel bad about is the fact that you decided to change coaches. What I don't feel bad about is that you thought that you were going to just show up and the Jets were going to lay down and they had a rookie quarterback and that you were going to get a freebie. So I don't feel bad in the sense of that. But I do know what it's like as a fan to take one of these on the chin. First week of the season, you get all excited. You got to sit through a bunch of games on Sunday, and you get excited. You amp only to see your team get their ass whooped. The worst feeling, week one. About as worse as it gets for week one. A delayed ass whooping. A tape delayed ass whooping. Those suck. Jonathan Kelly, hey, I appreciate that, man. Likely Phenomenon says, I call bullshit. What bullshit do you call, bro? Oh, man. Yikes. Buffalo pregame says, I was so excited when Darnold threw that pick six. Then that quickly ended. And he's a Bills fan, obviously, so he wants to see the other young quarterback struggle because his young quarterback is currently struggling. Don't do that. See, you gotta make sure you stay positive because if you are out there putting bad vibes into the environment, bad juju's gonna come back your way, man. You can't be hoping for Sam Darnold to play poorly. You gotta root for the young man in hopes that good juju and those good vibrations good vibrations. Good vibrations. Damn, I can't say that word to save my life tonight. Good vibrations come back your way. You've got to hope that you put some good energy into the environment and good vibrations come back your way. You put that bad energy out there and bad juju is going to come your way. So there it is. I gave you some tips for the night. Take that, run with it, man. Maybe you'll get something good coming back around your way. Likely phenomenon says just burn the tape. Buffalo pregame says you can't underestimate the Jets. Just like you always say, you can't trust a man with 2 first names. Never, ever underestimate the Jets. You're right. That's a really good mantra to live by. Really good mantra to live by. Buffalo pregame says Todd Bowles stands there with the same grin whether they win or lose. That's why you got to love what Todd Bowles does. He's like the Eli Manning of coaches. He never gets too high or too low. You can't tell if they're winning or they're losing because Todd's pretty even keel, man. So, gotta love that. Yeah, I watched the Bucks game, Ree. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. Blackbird Blitz says, Falcons to the bone, but I think Matt Ryan is hurt or is falling off a cliff. Yeah, we talked about it on the game on Monday. Yeah. Yeah, Matt Ryan was horrible on Thursday. It's terrible. So, yeah, we talked about that. Don't really know what the hell was going on there, but he looked like a rookie. But that's nor here nor there. Jets get the win 48-17. I believe, was that the final score? Let me check real quick to see if that was, 48-17 was the final score. Unbelievable outcome there. Had some people in the survivor pool pick the Lions because they thought, oh, rookie quarterback on the road, no way they go into Detroit and win. Yeah, about that. Don't know what to say to you. If you're the Lions, you just hit the reset button, man. Throw this one out the window. Get ready for next week. I mean, there's really nothing else to say other than got our ass whooped. We were ill prepared. We didn't play the way that we know we're capable of. Go back to the drawing board. It only counts as one. That's the good thing about an ass whooping. They don't give you extra losses because you lost by an inordinate amount of points. It's only one. You didn't lose 3 games tonight. But you could easily lose 2 games if you allow this ass whooping to linger into next week. You could easily turn this 1 loss into 2 losses. So if you're the Detroit Lions, you got to move on from this. You got the 48-hour rule. And because it's a Monday, you really need to make it the 24-hour rule because it's a Monday night game. You don't have the liberty of a Sunday where you can kind of take it in and then enjoy Monday and then boom, get back to work. This is a Monday night game. Got your ass whooped. You got to turn around quickly and get ready for a Sunday contest. So if you're the Detroit Lions, erase this one from the memory bank tonight. Come back to work tomorrow ready to prepare for your next team and try to get back on the right track. And I really don't know what you say to your team if you're Matt Patricia. I'm anxious to see what this team looks like next week because if they look anything like this again next week, then I'm starting to point my fingers at him. This just looked like a team that just wasn't prepared tonight. And the players didn't play well. You know, the coaches, they're to blame for certain things, but this was a lethargic effort on the part of the players. I mean, there are a number of 50-50 balls that Marvin Jones could have come down with. Plays could have been made that weren't. Players didn't execute tonight. And the coaches had something to do with that. But if they come out next week after an ass whooping in a performance like this, and they look similar to this, and I'm not saying they give up 48, but let's say they lose 31-17 next week to whomever they're playing. Then we start to point the finger at Matt Patricia. Now I'm starting to look at you like, are you the right guy for this job? Because you may not be. So we'll see what happens, but big win for the Jets. Good to see Quincy Enunwa back. I told you how I feel about Robbie Anderson's game. They didn't even have Jermaine Kearse, who might be their best receiver, period. This is a dangerous team. You look at the running backs, what they were able to do tonight. Offensive line is coming along. They've got pieces on the defensive side that you really, really got to like. Darren Lee came out and balled in this game. Look out for the Jets, man. Look out for the Jets. I'm your man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Remember, like the video. Subscribe to the Louie T Network if you haven't already done so. And most importantly, I've got another video coming later on. Raiders, Rams. This is another one of those situations where anxious to see what a coach does because the offseason has been abysmal. If this shit goes sideways for the Raiders tonight, this could be the beginning of the end of the Raiders in 2018 in week number 1. After the Khalil Mack situation and the trade and the way he balled out on Sunday, if they come out here and they give up 38 tonight and they lose 38-10, this shit could go sideways because they already didn't want Khalil Mack gone in the locker room. There could be a mutiny after week 1 if this shit doesn't go well. If they win this game, John Gruden then will be able to point his finger, wag, and say, I told you so. Even though it's only one game. A lot can be gained or lost from one game. So, I'm your man, Louie T. Signing off. I'll be back a little bit later on at the end of Raiders and Rams. Damn. Jets, 48-17 over the Lions. Who in the hell saw this coming? The Jets themselves didn't even see this coming. Hey, y'all, take me home, man. Take me home.
Louie